Last year, social impact powerhouses, gay gaming professionals, Games for Change, Urban Arts, New York University, and Carnegie Mellon University joined forces to launch CYSTEM. This one-of-a-kind grants program equips youth from underrepresented communities with the skills they need to pursue a future in the video game industry. In this panel, meet Professor of the Practice of Cinematic Arts at USC, Gordon Bellamy, lead of Partners and Programs at Gay Gaming Pros, Mason Powell, Director of Philanthropy at Urban Arts Partnership, Genevieve King, and Professor at Carnegie Mellon University, Davidson, as they reflect on last year's program, introduce the new cohort of participants, and discuss the importance of diverse voices in an industry that is still predominantly led by privileged groups. Enjoy.
Welcome. Thank you for making time. All right. So first we'll begin with our introductions of our panelists. And I see the mic's going to go, what for me is clockwise. So we'll start with you, Genevieve.
Me?
Yeah, yes. Who are you?
Hi, everybody. My name is Genevieve King. I'm the Director of Philanthropy at Urban Arts. Urban Arts teaches underrepresented students the art and technology of game design, using computer science, coding, animation, music, storytelling. We're a college and career access program. To date, our students have won $17 million in scholarships. The system's a part of that, yes. So it's a real pleasure to be here with our good friends to talk about the impact that collectively this community of social impact professionals is able to have with the students.
And next to you, Mason Powell.
Thank you. My name is Mason Powell. I run all the programs and partnerships for the Gay Gaming Professionals. A little background for GGP. We've been around for 18 years. I've been with them for 5 years, but we started doing networking events at major gaming conferences, Games for Change. But now we pivoted into running different programs, scholarship programs, which I lead. One of them being CYSTEM, giving grant money to students, underrepresented students, and also just creating just content like professional development for the students as well.
And next to you.
Hey everyone, my name is Davidson. I'm at the Entertainment Technology Center at Carnegie Mellon, and we're a professional master's program, similar to what Gordon's involved with at USC and the NYU program. And we actually have done research that shows more diverse teams do more creative, more innovative work. So it's something we believe in both ethically and socially, but we're also trying to push there's, particularly with companies, there's good business reasons for you to make these decisions and get more people involved. And so we're really thrilled to be involved with something like CYSTEM to help just continue to increase that.
We'll start with our first question. So for people at home who aren't familiar, maybe go to Mason first. Just frame what is CYSTEM for, I guess for the students, and was it for the schools, and was it for partner organizations? So what is CYSTEM?
The CYSTEM is it's a philanthropic endeavor created by St. Bain, who's a pioneer in the industry, to reward cash grants to underrepresented students at a high school level and also at the graduate collegiate level. We partnered with incredible programs like Urban Arts and Games for Change, and then we also have 3 universities where we pull students from at NYU, Carnegie Mellon, and USC, which wasn't mentioned earlier, so sorry about that. And like I said earlier in my introduction, we give them money. It's different from scholarships. They could use it towards, for their tuition and any fees if they want to do that. But we give them agency to use the money however they want to spend it. We're not getting or checking in with what their expenses are for it. They could put it towards school, or they could buy some shoes to get across campus. And then we also create webinars and workshops for the students' experience throughout the school year for their professional development, in hopes to it's a very different experience for the high school level. We're trying to enter them into the collegiate experience they're about to step into, and then for the graduate level, they're about to go out into the real world, and so we hopefully set them up for some type of success.
Perfect. So Genevieve, I'll go to you. So you have a fantastic cohort of high school students. So maybe for people who don't know, paint a picture of the Urban Arts Universe, then talk about how a program like this is additive to what you're already doing for them all year round.
Yeah, so at Urban Arts, we partner with Title I schools, so schools in low-income districts, and we develop curriculum that uses games as the root of what we're teaching. So for instance, we have an AP Computer Science preparatory curriculum that we've rolled out nationwide. We do teacher training, and so we're in, I think, 9-10 states now nationwide. We also have a very in-depth, high-touch after-school program that's primarily hosted here in New York City at a learning lab that we have in Flatiron. Students will spend 300 to 680 program hours with us in that program. So yes, they're learning the basics of C#, on the Unity engine, but they're also coming out with experiences. 100% of them have made their own game. At the advanced level, they are working in mock studio teams of 10 to 12 students, where each one of them has a different role. One's a creative director, one of them is a project manager, one of them does the music and sound design. They launch Kickstarters to learn about sort of the business end of the games industry. And we engage corporate partners in that work, so being part of the diverse talent pipeline that we're really working on. Because we have such an in-depth program model, one of the most important things that we have fostered and we've seen that contributes to a successful educational journey is community, right? So the students that go through our program, that's where their friends are. That's where creativity happens. That's where they can kind of let go and try something new. They also really vote with their feet, right? They spend a lot of time with us. They're with us every Saturday. But that sense of community becomes critical to their learning journey and also to how they view their future. So one of the most important things that I love being at Games for Change, and I love being on this panel and with these people, is because that sense of community has to be extended across all of our work, right? We have to be working together. Because we have an alumni cohort, we do the college access piece, we sit down with every student, we help them do the common application, we figure out what the right scholarships are, but at some point, we also have to help them extend that community. So CYSTEM has been critical for that, for the 5 students that went through the first cohort, and the 5 students that are about to start the next cohort. I had the pleasure of speaking with them all over the past couple months and in the past week, and that was one of the things that was mentioned the most, was the continuing sense of community that they're feeling, as well as college advising. They, almost, I would say, I don't know the exact percentage, but most of our students are first-generation college attendees. And so it's very important that they have mentors and advisors, but also that they can just hear from a college advising professional. What do you look for? What do I need to do, right? Like, what does a college interview sound like? So all of them mentioned that when they were talking about the benefits of CYSTEM, that they were able to sit there and ask these questions in a safe space where they feel so comfortable. And a lot of them said that too. They were like, Gordon's awesome. He makes everybody feel like it's so laid back. We feel very safe. So, I'd be happy to share more about some of the leadership and some of the things that the students have said, but I'll pass that for now.
We will, because we're going to talk to Drew for a second. Because Drew, you've got a premier educational program, one of the top ones in the world.
Stop
These are just, I'm spitting facts.
it. Right.
And so maybe for people who aren't familiar, maybe talk about even what is a graduate program? How's that distinguished from, like, I'm going to college to study games, people who come for a graduate education, and how programs like this can be additive on their journey through and out into the world.
Yeah, happy to. One of the interesting things, if you think about it, I think anybody who has some experience in the game industry is, it's kind of famous for it was sort of founded by a lot of dropouts. People sort of like, oh, I dropped out and went into games because you didn't need a degree once upon a time to get into games. And it was fascinating, at least I was heavily involved in SIGGRAPH. I don't know if people are familiar with SIGGRAPH. It's a professional organization focused on graphics. So it's kind of like the Hollywood SIG. It's all about the best hair, the water, things like that. But that was all founded by PhD researchers who were like crunching the numbers to try to figure out how to do the graphics better. So it was really interesting to go from that to say something like GDC or the game industry, where it's like people have like a badge of pride of like, I did this because I could draw, and that's all I needed to get a job. But at this point in our careers, there are programs out there. There's a little bit more of an expectation of students coming into the field with more than just the I can draw. And to like Gordon's point, a lot of people go to college and they do their 4 years. And for some of them, you don't have to, like Randy Pausch, one of the founders of the ETC. And if anybody's never watched the last lecture, I highly recommend it. It is a very inspiring talk that he gave while he was dying of pancreatic cancer. So he just knocked it out of the park. But he'd always tell our students, you don't have to go to college, really. You definitely don't have to go to grad school, but we encourage people to if they want to do more. So like you can go out and you can get a job as an undergrad, and he was trying to convince people if they have aspirations into leadership or to grow the field or to grow themselves, grad school is a great way to do that. And there's some programs like what we do, like what happens at NYU and what happens at USC, that are really focused on we're going to help you get into the industry. And I'd say we're kind of like an MBA, but we're focused on the creative, the design and development. Because a lot of people are like, oh, grad school, it's kind of like MBAs or MAs, or it's like, yes, but we do the fun stuff. And it really helps our students sort of like get into that. I think it gives them an edge because they have just that little bit more, and it shows a passion. And we tell our students like, oh, you're going to graduate, they're going to still going to be entry-level job, but they're going to expect more from you. And usually our students deliver, and they do amazing things. Like I think all of our programs have alums where like, check out so-and-so, they're crazy amazing. And what's awesome about something like CYSTEM, to build on what Genevieve was saying, for us it's like community, and we always, it's a small world, and it seems like everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows Gordon. But it is like one of those things where we're like I joke with our students, I'm like, I'm gonna tell you a secret, it's gonna help you be successful, and they're like, all right, tell me. I'm like, just be polite. Just have manners. And then they like laugh. I'm like, no, seriously, because that's how low the bar is. It's so rare. You'll stand out if you just follow up. And so it's like our students sort of go out there expecting it. It's this community they've joined by being from our program. Like USC has a great one, NYU has a great one. And then what CYSTEM does on top of that is I thought, the money is great. And I know our students appreciate it. I'm sure like, hey, it's money, that helps. But it's the community that really ends up being valuable. As they I thought it was baked into the system, as it were. I know, right? Sorry. They were like, okay, here's your student. You're from the cohort last year. Here's the student who went through. Who's going to help the current crop go through. So we're like, that I think is what's going to be invaluable for other people who go through this program, both at the graduate level and at the high school levels. They're going to have this great community of people to support each other for the rest of their careers, most likely.
Sure, well, it brings us to Mason. So tell us a little about CYSTEM and the day-to-day, and I think Drew alluded to a way that the program's evolving.
So we're with CYSTEM. I love that both of them talked about communities, because we are really trying to create that sense of community. And also, what I love seeing with CYSTEM, what we're creating is urban arts and games for change kind of create like similar programs. But we're not like trying to put them against each other. We're trying to create like that community, because we all have the same goal. We all want to create default spaces for underrepresented students, and we want to create pipeline. We talk about it a lot, but like into the industry and just work together, and like with NYU, Carnegie Mellon, and USC, you probably have your own biases for the students to go to your games program there, but with CYSTEM, we put that wall down and just want to have like everyone be supportive of each other. And so like we pivoted into the next year to create an even like more intimate sense of community. We listened to the students' feedback. It was all like virtual things that we did, but now we're like in person now. We have a few CYSTEM scholars, or we have a CYSTEM scholar currently for the next year here now. We have a scholar from last year, and then we have a mentor who we're trying to do like leadership and just help us out with building on that community.
That's amazing. So Genevieve, this is a collab. So this is the first, this is our first, it's great. It's like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B working together. What's it like being at Games for Change, right? And you're doing a collab. Your program's outstanding, but also Games for Change is outstanding. But it's together. What is that like for you?
It's awesome, honestly. I think I don't know, because I started working in this space like at the beginning of COVID. So obviously it took me a while to meet anybody. And so I'm not sure if, I feel like there is a very recent coalescence of all of these groups, CYSTEM, GGP, GGP is Gay Gaming Professionals, all of these different organizations that are really, really figuring out how to work together. That we have, we're all taking very specific pieces of the pie with ultimately the same goal. And so there's so many ways you can collaborate, and there's so many ways that you can tell the students about everything else everybody's doing, and guess what that does? Community. And so it's more and more and more. I mean, I remember we were at GDC and we sat down for like 2 hours on couches with St. John Vane and just talked. And there were some students there about like, what should we be doing together? What are we missing? What are you seeing? What are we doing? Like, and that feels so good because we're right at the precipice of so much responsible innovation with corporations, with government agencies. So nonprofits being able to support one another and build programming together, and then make sure that these students end up in places of leadership. It's very empowering, and it just benefits everybody, right? So, yeah.
Same question to Drew, because I think, at least my perception, is like we meet once a year at the Princeton Review, right? Which is this gross gladiatorial, like who's better thing, when we're all literally trying to do the same thing in our own expressive, artistic, creative ways, right? So what's it like to be part of a program where we're all together, like your students, USC students, NYU students are one?
I think I'll be very curious. I wish somebody from NYU was here as well. Because one of the things that we've noticed, and I think I've talked to Tracy more than you about this, the game programs across universities are very, very friendly with each other, more so than my other departments within the university. We're sort of like the ugly, the black swan, whatever metaphor, where we're the ugly, unwanted stepchild. Because we don't really do CS, we do games.
I'll say it, black swans are beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and then our art colleagues will be like, well, you don't really do art because you pander to do entertainment. But then they'll be like, oh, but we have this VIP guest, can we bring him by? Yeah, because we want to show them all the cool stuff you do. And it's just like this weird thing of like, that's fascinating to me because I was like, I actually have better professional relationships with people across universities at other game programs. We're so supportive of each other, so it's interesting. Because on the one hand, Princeton Review heads up and goes this, that, and the other. But on the other hand, it's just like, there's already a strong community there. Something about games seems to encourage that in some levels, and we're very supportive, and I think CYSTEM taps into that, and at least amplifies it in ways I think are really positive.
So people are watching this home on video, right? I'll go back to you, Mason. How do they connect with CYSTEM? They want to help, they believe, right? Whether they're engaged at a graduate level, a high school level, a game level, how do they connect with CYSTEM to be a part of it in any additive way?
Well, we have a Discord, that's like a direct answer is to just like keep the communication going offline even after you graduate. But there's just like intention from like, so we selected a mentor from all the universities to have like a closer connection to the students. And create, I keep saying community, but it really is like meaningful for us to know that the kids or the students just have like a place outside of just their universities and their programs, and to continue the conversation and help each other out as they move forward in their careers.
And we have some system scholars in the room, I believe. I'd love for them to stand up just for a moment because they're here and be acknowledged. We're proud of them being here. And I believe we're in the throes of time. I looked at the corner there. We have 1 minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it home, Gordon, bring it home.
Well, the most important thing is to connect with people. So I guess the question would be, how do people find urban arts? How do they actually reach you? If they've seen this and they're inspired, how do they reach you?
urbanarts.org is our website. You can email me, Genevieve King, that's Genevieve at urbanarts.org. We are at Urban Arts Org on Instagram. We have continuous student programming. If you're a student and you like the sound of this, go on our website, you can apply, we'd love to meet you. If you're a friendly, if you're whoever you are, I would love to talk to you.
And I'll mirror that energy for gamesforchange.org. For those of you at home who are seeing this for the first time, you can go to the website, and there's so many programs, so many different ways to engage. includes live events. So thank you, Games for even having us. Same thing to you, you're Carnegie Mellon, like what? There's games there? How do they actually engage?
Yeah, you can find us on the web's really easy, etc.cmu.edu. My email's up there, it's just drew@andrew.cmu.edu. And I will reply. I'm not technically OCD, but I'm very much reply to email. And so like we're really open, we're happy to talk. And I think all of us too, like games are so seductive. I'm like, I hope you understand what you're getting into. You know, it's project-based work. You know, we have like a table downstairs. We partner with Games for Change. So if you want to, our director of missions down there, if you're a student, and we have a student group down in the Immersion Arcade. They did a VR experience about light pollution and bird migration. That's really powerful, I think. So you could get a sense of them, and they could tell you the good, bad, and ugly of the program.
And lastly, Mason, how do they reach you? How do they reach you in the programs?
Well, you could reach me through, so we have a website, gaygamingpros.org. You can always reach out to us if you want like any feedback or connect to myself or Gordon. We also have a Discord too. It's a long name. I can't. We don't have like a personalized link for that. But Gay Gaming Pros Discord. There is a system Discord, but it's private. It's exclusive. But yeah, you can always reach out to us on Discord. We always love to talk and hear everyone's thoughts and
How do they
ideas.
reach you, Gordon? That's a great question. Well, Twitter, my Twitter's on the screen, so @GordonBellamy is the way to reach me. But also LinkedIn, I'm fairly accessible. You can
LinkedIn, yeah.
or Gmail.
Find on LinkedIn, Mason
Bellamy at usc.edu. And USC has a website as well. But we're gonna wrap up. Thank you, Games for Change. Thank you everyone who watched this, wherever you may be. We appreciate you, period. And everyone,
Thank you.